Okay, so let's see here what we can find here. Let's see if I can find that story about that Python story. It looks like I probably am, probably not. Let's see here. Maybe we don't have it. Okay, I guess we're going to have to go to national news. How about that? I guess we can go there to national news, I guess. And continue on. Okay, looks like we got this one here. How about that? We got this one here. This happens in Atlanta, Georgia. And this looks to be what, a 17-year-old student. Wow. It doesn't get any better up there in Atlanta, Georgia, I'll tell you that right now. It does not get any better. This happened today. So here we go. Atlanta, Georgia. Police say a 17-year-old boy has been charged with aggravated assault in a shooting near Atlanta High School that wounded 5 and remain in custody. A judge denied bail for Marcus Brooks during court appearance on Wednesday. Brooks is being charged as an adult on 5 accounts. Brooks' attorney Roberta Lawnmere says Brooks didn't have a gun, and none was found in his vacancy. Atlanta police and Fulton County prosecutors didn't immediately respond to the request for comment. Lawnmere covered Brooks' face with papers during his court appearance at Fulton County Jail. She said he was in the 10th grade, but did not say what school he attends. Police said the 4 victims of the shooting near Terrell High School on Tuesday afternoon were students. The motive has not been established. Okay, it's just me though, folks. It's just me. Or can anybody here tell me why is the defense attorney here, Roberta Lawnmere, trying to cover this boy's face for? He wounded 5 students in the high school of Atlanta, Georgia. And now Fulton County called prosecutors. They didn't respond to the request for comment. So why is she covering this boy's face for? That's what I don't understand. He's 17 years old. Now, don't the high schools here in North Texas have local police officers to check for people's backpacks to make sure that they don't do that? Obviously there wasn't. Because if they wouldn't have found something here, they would have easily told us, okay, this is what happened here. And I'm wondering, I blame the school here for allowing him to come with a weapon. I truly do. And I also blame Governor Rick Perry for allowing weapons in our country. How about that? We don't need weapons. The only weapons we need to defend ourselves are here, folks. Excuse me. Are pepper sprays, baseball bats, sledgehammers, steel chairs, tables, and ladders. That's all we need to defend ourselves. We don't need no AK-7s. We don't need no AR-15s. We don't need no shotguns, no assault rifles, no 9mm, 45 caliber, 38 caliber. We don't need none of that. We don't need that. Okay, time out is 2:29 here. Let's go to our weird news story here, shall we? Now this one here, it kind of surprises me because this was a weird story. This one is a weird story here, folks. I know some of you probably don't do your personal business at home, but this one here happened in Fort Hood, Texas. Now I know some of you are probably wondering, why am I talking about this creature? Because they're everywhere, rolling around, slithering around here in North Texas. So here we go. In just a moment, I'll tell you the story. As soon as I can stop this commercial here from, how do you say, Confirm. Okay, here we go. Fort Hood, Texas. A 12-foot python has been returned to its owner after Slithery stopped at a Central Texas home where a woman earlier bathed her pet guinea pigs. The Eagle newspaper reported Tuesday that Veronica Rodriguez was shot early May with a big snake turned up in her bathroom. Police believe the African python slipped into the house when Rodriguez left the back door open after bathing her three house guinea pigs and putting the critters in an outdoor pens. Rodriguez says she heard strange noises, returned to the bathroom, and discovered a snake crawling into the tub. She called 911. Fort Hood, Texas Police Department and animal control officers removed the snake using a city trash can as a temporary replaceable for the reptile. No guinea pigs were harmed. Now, this is the weirdest story ever, though, folks. How come Veronica Rodriguez left the back door open? Now, I heard than to leave my back door open and let a critter, a intruder creature, slither in with its long, huge tail and bite me. I would not allow that. Now, I remember I talked about this a couple of years ago, folks. This person had his own documentary show on national television. And you remember that scene where Will Ferrell gets bitten by a snake? And he starts saying a whole bunch of foul language. Well, okay. This man, he was on a snake. Yellow cobra. And that yellow cobra bit him. Now they tried to take the man to the hospital. He refused to go to the hospital. What happens? The man died. Oh yes, the man died at the scene. He went home, dead in his sofa. Don't you think that's kind of obvious? Well, don't get any weirder than that. I really don't. We'll do a quick break here. Covering live on YouTube.com. We'll talk about this Clipper story again with Magic Urban Johnson and much more when we come back live on YouTube.com. We're back next. Yeah. Mm. Uh, Alright, we're back here live on YouTube.com. Tonight is 2:42. And we'll get into that here in just a moment. So now we're learning some more new details from what it looks to be excuse me, from what it looks to be on hold on just a second here. Okay. From what it looks to be, now we got an accuser who now is accusing Harding, excuse me. So we'll get there in just a moment here and talk about it in just a moment with Greg Hardy, the one we spoke about yesterday evening actually, and now once we get there we'll talk about it here in just a moment. Live here on YouTube.com. To me, it may seem kind of weird, though, folks. Greg Hardy just cannot seem to stay out of trouble. What was he thinking about? Domestic violence? That's odd. Oh, it is. It's really odd. I hate to say it, it seems like to me like he cannot stay out of trouble at all, period. Okay. So here we go. Charlotte, North Carolina. Carolina superstar Greg Hardy was released from jail Wednesday following a domestic violence charge in a case in which both and his girlfriend claimed that the other was the aggressor. Millersburg County District Judge Rebecca Throne then released Hardy on a bond set at $15,000 for assault and $22,000 for threats. She also ordered the Pro Bowl defensive end to have no contact with the woman identified as 24-year-old Nicole Holder. Then also ordered Hardy to attend 3 Alcoholic Anonymous classes a week. Nothing that both parties were intoxicated at the time of the incident, which occurred around 3 a.m. Central Time, which means 4 o'clock Eastern Time, Tuesday. Holder filed a restraining order against Hardy on Wednesday. In the complaint, she accused Hardy of throwing her onto the couch, covered with assault rifles and or shotguns. Hardy picked me up and threw me into the tile tub area in his bathroom. The complaint read, I have bruises from head to toe, including my head, neck, back, shoulders, arms, legs, elbow, and feet. Hardy pulled me from the tub by my hair, screaming at me, and he was going to kill me, break my arms, and other threats that I completely believed. He dragged me across the bathroom, out into the bathroom. Hardy choked me with both hands around my throat. While I was laying on the floor, Hardy picked me up over his head and threw me onto a couch covered in assault rifles and or shotguns. I landed on those weapons. And the complaint holder alleges that Hardy had 25 to 30 firearms in his apartment, and that he threatened to shoot me if I went to the media or reported his assaults to anyone. Hardy appeared in Charlotte Knucklebuss County courtroom wearing an orange jumpsuit and handcuffs. He was released at 11:15 Central Time Wednesday, wearing a top Black Panther sweatpants and sunglasses. He made no comment, staring straight ahead and made his job properly. Hardy's attorney, Chris Flacco, said his client was not the aggressor. Flacco said Hardy called 911 at 3:14 a.m. after Holder refused to leave his apartment. Flacco said he had not heard the 911 tape, adding police are still trying to decide whether to release it to the media. Attempts by ESPN.com to obtain the tape have been unsuccessful. Holder's attorney Stephen Goodwin acknowledged that Hardy made a 911 call, but disputed that his client was the aggressor. My client was not the aggressor by a long shot, said Goodwin. Nothing. His client weighs less than 120 pounds. That Hardy is 6'4", 290 pounds. It was very violent. A lot of picking up and throwing. Goodwin said went to the Tuesday to have her injuries checked out. Noted there are also bruises and abrasions on her neck. Holder said that some of the abrasions occurred while she was struggling on the floor. According to the warrant, another man held Holder down when Hardy called 911, then identified the man as Sammy Curtis, who sat in the courtroom next to Hardy's agents, Drew Rosas. Neither had comment leaving the courthouse. Goodwin left open the possibility that charges could be filed against Curtis, Hardy's good friend and business associate. I think additional information is coming out on him later today, Goodwin said. Flacco said Holder attempted to contact Curtis multiple times on Tuesday evening while Hardy spent the night in jail. Goodwin confirmed that. And I quote, "She's very scared," he said. "That attempt at contact is what you would think from a very scared young lady. She didn't want to get hurt by any further." Asked if there was any prior evidence of physical violence between Hardy and Holder, Goodwin said, "I don't want to prejudice that information. The answer to that question will come out in court." She has never filed a complaint, Goodwin added. She has never been taking any action on that front, but that information will come out on that front. Hardy's next court appearance is set for June 27th, year 2014. Goodwin said Hardy and Holder met while Holder was working as a waitress at a downtown restaurant. He said the two had been in a relationship since September, and that they lived together for a time, but have not for the past couple of months. While Hardy was in court, a group that included Charlotte Police Chief Rodney Maroon was at Bank of America Stadium for a previously scheduled meeting to discuss domestic violence. The Panthers had no further comment on Hardy's situation Wednesday on Tuesday. The team issued a statement that said, "We are very disappointed to learn of the allegations involving Greg and are concerned for all parties as we continue to investigate." So, I'm kind of wondering here, is him and his business associate going to get in trouble? Looks like they are. Because in this case, she could have easily have been killed in those guns. I mean, he had let's see how many guns he had. He had from 25 to 35 arms. And she could have easily have gotten killed with those weapons if they wouldn't have gone boom. Boom, boom, boom. So now, my question here today, folks, is Greg Hardy going to get suspended by the National Football League during this entire regular season of the NFL 2014? Yes. I think the NFL League should take a legal action against Hardy and probably ban him from trying to show to training camp. How about that? Because to me, him and his girlfriend, known as Nicole Holder, who's 24 years old, I'm not so sure what's going to happen now to this young man. All I can say is the Holder family better come with an excuse for Mr. Hardy here, and let's just say let's figure out the rest. Because sooner or later, somebody better start telling the truth. That's all I got to say on behalf of my point. On behalf of me. Because there's nothing else that I can say that would kind of say ruin it. And by all means, do I mean ruin it? No. I ain't trying to ruin it. How about that? Okay. Let's give you some updates of Major League Baseball. Bottom of the 8th inning, Tigers lead the Orioles 7-5. Top of the 7th inning, Halos lead the Phillies 3-0. Royals lead Rockies. Bottom of the 5th, 3-0. Later on, Athletics and White Sox. And later on tonight on ESPN Network, Yankees taking on the New York Mets live from Flushing, New York City. So, is it obvious that somebody like this has no reason at all, period, to figure out what's the rest here, really? This is an obvious situation. This is really a series of situations that clearly to me it seems kind of too hard to understand, but Greg Hardy cannot seem to stay out of trouble, folks. It looks like Greg Hardy really wants to get in trouble. Is there any way I can say this wasn't the main factor I was looking for right now? Because to me right now, obviously, it's not the right thing, the right place, the right time to even talk about this here for just a moment here. Let's go ahead and give you some updates on Major League Baseball. Bottom of the 9th inning right now, Tigers lead the Orioles 7-5. Top of the 8th inning, Halos leading the Phillies 3-0. Bottom of the 6th inning, Rockies down to the Orioles 3-0. Bottom of the 1st, Athletics and White Sox down 1-1. Excuse me. And bottom of the 1st inning, still scoreless, Diamondbacks and Nationals. And Atlanta Braves lead the San Francisco Giants 1-0. Okay. Mets and Yankees that are on today, 6 o'clock. 6 and Blue Jays, 6:10. Padres and Cincinnati Reds. Rangers and 7:10 West. So we'll get into some more Cowboys here in just a moment here. Better center firing rating than Camry. Car driver did the 10th best 28 times. Honda. And just excuse me here for just a second. On the 2014 Honda Accord, LTX automatic sedan. Click here. Go to ntxhondadealers.com. That's ntxhondadealers.com. Okay, here. So here we go. Let's start here with the circus. Yes, el circo. I know a lot of you are saying, why the circo? I don't know. Is it just me? I'm not sure. Okay, here we go. Irving, Texas. In order to avoid some of the circus certainly to be involved in a selection of Johnny Manziel to the Cleveland Browns are limiting access to national media at the team's rookie minicamp this weekend. By doing so, the Browns have created even more of an issue. Can you imagine the Cowboys are doing such Can you imagine the Cowboys ever doing such a thing? Of course not. They would have loved the attention, at least. That's the most commonly held prescription. But speaking of the conference call with the season ticket holders on Tuesday, Executive Vice President Stephen Jones hinted Hitting the circus was part of the reason why the Cowboys passed on Johnny Football in the first round. The Cowboys had Manziel highly rated on their draft board, but opted to take Zach Martin instead. And I quote, "We all felt like he's a great football player," Jones said. At the same time, a lot about what Johnny is the it factor. I think it will probably it would really be hard for a guy like Johnny Manziel to sit on the bench and watch. That was a factor in under decision making. I don't think that he's like an Aaron Rodgers who was very patient and watched Brett Favre for the 2 or 3 years to wait his turn. The minute he walks, is there going to be controversy in the National Football League? We know it. You don't win every game, and you have tough ones. You lose, and quarterbacks are in tough situations. Okay, is it just me? Was it the Jones son here? It's not getting the picture here, folks. They had the greatest chance of them all to have drafted and selected in the first round 21-year-old from the state of Texas, Johnny Manziel. They could have picked him up, but no. Here's the next one here. So EBP, what does EBP mean here? I'll tell you right now here in just a moment. How about that? Let's see here. Okay, excuse me for what I was doing here. Okay, here we go. In a conference call with the season ticket holders on Tuesday, Dallas Cowboys Vice President Stephen Jones said quarterback Tony Romo should be not only for the start of the training camp in late July, but in week 1 of 2020 regular and yes conference call. He's on schedule, if not ahead of schedule. He's throwing the ball around. We not only think that he'll be ready for opening week, he'll start up at training camp and keep ready to go. He's always a tremendous competitor. In our mind, he kept us with all the season long. With the defense that was departed with injuries, with a chance to win an NFC East the last game of the year, and he had played in that game might have gone in a different direction. Kyle Orton replaced Romo in 2013 regular season finale against Philadelphia and completed 30 of 46 passes, 358 yards with 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, but Orton's final pass of the game, an interception that clinched 22-21 victory for the Eagles. Orton considering retirement has been reported to the voluntary offseason workouts. The Cowboys didn't draft a quarterback last week because the team officials believe Romo is still in his prime at the age of 34 and that he will recover from back surgery. As the second such surgery for Romo, he had a cypress removed from his back last offseason. That's the most recent surgery was to repair a herniated disc in his back. Cowboys owner general manager Jerry Jones says he expects Orton to return for the offseason workouts, but didn't have any updates on his status. The Cowboys also on quarterbacks Brandon Whitney and Cleb Haney for free agents. Okay, it's just me. Whereas Jerry Jones here obviously lost his mind. Then I said on Cinco de Mayo, which was Monday, Tony Romo is not ready to go out there. And I don't think he's 100% clear to even risk him. What's going to happen in week 1 for the Cowboys is we're messed up right now. We're really messed up. The NFL season hasn't even started yet. And he's talking about my quarterback is going to be ready for week 1 of the NFL regular season. Really? Really? Come on, man. Come on, man. This is ridiculous here, folks. Oh, no, it is ridiculous. To me, it sounds very ridiculous because how are you going to allow Jerry Jones to even talk about Tony Romo should be ready and week 1 of the NFL regular season and he'll be the best quarterback ever and he'll take us to the NCAA championship. And it was the right decision to keep him ready. I don't think so, Jerry Jones. I think the son, as Vice President, Vice Presidente Stephen Jones, he better come with a good excuse for letting him continue to come back. This guy is 34 years old. What does he plan to do with him? I mean, what is he planning to do? Well, I'm not so sure what he's planning to do here, folks. Because I'm kind of, I'm truly kind of confused. This is not the right time or place to have happened. Oh no, I'm telling you, this is not the right time and place. Now, I can seriously get it. I understand perfectly well. But that ain't the only problem we got on our hands. Oh no. That ain't the only problem we got on our hands here, folks. Because as of right now, it's not the right thing. And I don't know where you're going to get the idea of it going on. But let's just say we got a problem. Oh yeah, a big time problem. So we Browns. That's what I was going to talk about here, but just excuse me for just a moment. It's like we're having some difficult technical problems here with this, and we'll get into it here in just a moment. But first, let's start with the NBA offseason. Shit about that. Because as it may seem to me, folks, this isn't right at all, period. To me, it don't sound right. To me, it sounds like not a great idea. Okay, here we go. It's today 7:28 Central Time. The $550 million sale of the Milwaukee Bucks to hedge fund billionaires Wesley Edens and Mark Larcy is expected to be financed by the NBA on Thursday. A source involved in the process told ESPN.com in the wake of Donald's starting scandal, there is a push within the league to have an extra through rating of the new owner. Sources said that process, however, is complete, and the league's board of governors will approve the transaction that was intentionally signed last month. The timing of the sale will allow Edens and Larcy to take control of the team before next Tuesday's draft lottery in New York City, which was a priority. The Bucks at 25% have the highest odds to win the lottery after an NBA worst 15-67 season. The high draft choice is what expected to keep a draft once was one of the alternative selling points of the team. Edens and Larcy have to equate a monetary share of the Brooklyn Nets. He had pledged $1 million in additional funds to construct a new arena in Milwaukee. Outgoing owner Herb Kawhi was controlled the team since 1985. He has agreed to give the city $1 million in the purchase towards the arena. Edens and Larcy, after forking for a forged public-private funding deal to replace the aging Bradley Center, similar to the agreement just financed Sacramento for the Kings. And that deal, the Kings' new $4.7 million arena is getting $2.54 million. The team compensation like in a unique sales contract, the NBA has the right to buy the Bucks intervention installed by Quahi to ensure owners would not have the option to move the team if arena funding doesn't come through. The Bucks front office, led by General Manager John Hamrod and Coach Larry Drew, have been going through standard participation ahead of the June 26th draft. Ains and Larcy have given no indication yet of their plans, through it's common for the new owners to make management changes. Then we get go see the screening of Godzilla, see it in real 3D and IMAX 3D in theaters Friday everywhere. For more, follow them on Twitter, like them on Facebook. 8 tickets tomorrow, 6 o'clock everywhere in theaters everywhere Friday. Godzilla. So I'm kind of wondering here, folks, what is really going to happen? I have no idea. But like I was saying just a little while ago, folks, Tony Romo was not ready to come back in the NFL. And we were hoping that Johnny Manziel was going to come play here for the Dallas Cowboys, but unfortunately, that didn't happen either. So we're kind of stuck in the same place right now. Oh, wait a minute. I was going to talk about who? Yeah, Coach Mike Brown. Forgot about that, right? I was going to talk about Coach Mike Brown from the Cavaliers. Again, he gets fired. The season hasn't even started, and now they just fire him again. So I'm kind of wondering what is really going to happen there. How about that? We'll get into it here in just a moment. But I'm really kind of surprised the Cavaliers at the fire Mike Brown. I still don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't. Oh, I'll take a break here tonight. 309. Coming in the top at 3 and 15 o'clock hour. I'll give you more updates on Major League Baseball. And I'll be back next live here on YouTube.com. I guess I'll continue talking about Mike Brown uh, getting fired from the Cavaliers in Cleveland, Ohio. Tonight's 3:14. Thank you very much for joining me on this great Wednesday afternoon. Beautiful day in the Metroplex. Temperature right now 76 degrees under mostly clear skies. Beautiful day here in North Texas. I'm enjoying it. Beautiful, nice weather here this afternoon. Cannot complain too much about it. How about that? And then we'll get into a commercial break in just a little while here. But before we go, let's go to continue talking about Mike Brown. What really happened in Cleveland, Ohio, really, because I'm kind of confused here with this story. And did I find it was the right thing to do? I mean, the NBA season hasn't even started yet. And we've been talking about lately LeBron James, the possibility he might go back to Cleveland and go play back for the Cavaliers. Is that likely going to happen? Yes. I'm telling you right now, Cleveland fans. If LeBron James goes back to Cleveland, Ohio, you guys have got to give him that give back welcome. Like, do not boo the man because he won a ring a couple of years ago as a Miami Heat player in the city of Miami Beach, Florida. You don't want to give him that bad welcome again. You want to give him the good welcome, like saying, welcome back, LeBron James, number 6. We miss you in Cleveland, Ohio. Come on back. We're ready for you to come back and play here NBA. See, that's not the only story LeBron James is going through right now. No, sir. Because here we go. Independence, Ohio. Mike Brown's relationship with the all-star point guard Kyle Irving didn't grow. They got along but had their issues. However, any differences Brown had with his best player didn't get him fired for a second time by the Cavaliers. That's the point made by General Manager David Griffin on Tuesday, only denying that Irving had any direct involvement in the decision to replace the coach. After the Cavs finished, they appointed election practically false, Griffin said. His voice rising is unfair. He was not concealed on this decision, or nor was he was counsel on the previous coaching decision. It's completely unfair as situation and one that I want everyone to understand very clearly. Griffin then had pounded his hand on the table for effect. It's not a negative that we're going to go with what he said. Irving will be playing for his third coach in the 4 NBA seasons, and Brown recently seemed on the same page in their year together. While Irving's defense improved, there were too many times that he was ability. Also, Irving and guard Dion Waters struggled during their time on the court, and the pair had some off-court issues under Brown's watch. It's understandable that Griffin defended Irving. After all, the 21-year-old is Cleveland's top player and potential superstar in making, and the Cavs can offer him a maximum contract extension this summer. The team doesn't want to create an unnecessary turmoil with Irving, who will repeatedly sidestep any questions about whether he intends to accept a long-term deal in Cleveland, Ohio. Brown's first stint with Cleveland ended in 2010, the summer while the Cavs were knocked out of the early playoffs and LeBron James left for Miami. While Brown is entirely to blame for the Cavs missing the playoffs for the fourth straight year, despite being in the top-heavy Eastern Conference, he took the fall. Griffin was promoted by owner Dan Gilbert. After serving as the club's interim GM since February 6, said the decision to fire Brown was made collectively. Brown did improve the Cavs' record, and they made a major leap defensively, jumping from the last in the league to the 12th in defensive field goal percentage. But he couldn't get them back into the postseason, and players grumbled about his offense. Griffin said Brown wasn't entirely to blame. Nothing's all one person's fault, he said. I do think that it's accountably to be shared everywhere. When we came into the season, there were probably things we could have done better as a front office. To set the table as well, there was a collective approach this season. We made progress collectively in some ways towards the end of the year. We fell short collectively in some ways, so this was absolutely not the blame of anyone. It's shared by everybody. Griffin has already begun to search to find Brown's replacement. He did not reveal the names of any possible candidates and said there is not a clear front-runner. A few names have already emerged as candidates, including former Phoenix executive Steve Kerr, Los Angeles Clippers assistant Evan Gertley, and former Golden State coach Mark Jackson, and Iowa State coach Fred Hoiberg. Griffin also has worked with Mike D'Antoni and George Karl, a current ESPN analyst, could get consideration. Griffin said the search will be not limited to pro coaches. There is no timetable to find Brown's successor. We're not going to rule out any coach at any level, he said. College experience will not only be something that is ruled out. That is ruled out. Being a head coach in the NBA in the past will not only be something that's ruled out. We're going to be very open-minded in that way. Griffin said Gilbert, who has fired four coaches and replaced 3 GMs since buying into Cavs in 2005, will be heavily involved in the coaching search. Dan has a reputation and is very good hands owner because our ownership group is very involved, he said. This will be a collaborative effort. I will not make any decision alone, but I would absolutely be leading this process, and I'm really excited about building a relationship with that coach. As far as I said before, you're only as strong as that relationship. That bond is going to be very strong. I'm not for sure if Steve Kerr will have any experience coaching the Cavaliers, the Cleveland, Ohio. No. Now, Brown was not the problem. This is worse than firing your former coordinator from the Dallas Cowboys named Rob Ryan, because Rob Ryan, like I said, was not the problem. Now, I know a lot of you are probably wondering why, as in Jason Garrett, the son-in-law of GM Jerry Jones, and the old man has been named Monte Kifton, why haven't these two left the organization? I thought Monte Kifton was going to retire and never come back. We haven't heard anything new on this story yet, folks. So I'm pretty much kind of wondering where we're going to go on from here. And I'm not so sure at all, to tell you the truth. The only thing I can say for the Cavaliers still is, folks, this season looked very terrible. I mean, it don't get any better than that. It looked very terrible this season. I mean, you had teams that were fighting for that main spot, and the playoffs did not get it. didn't get it at all. So I'm kind of wondering what really happened in this matchup. What's going to happen next with these players? Because, folks, this isn't easy at all. To me, this is not easy. I just gotta say though, I can't seem to think. I can't seem to think anywhere else. Where would you line a head coach for the NBA? Is the Iowa coach going to decide to accept the job? I'm not so sure. If he's even going to allow that to happen at some point, I'm not so sure if he's even going to accept that job. Because it's not going to be that easy for neither of them right now here, folks. So here we go. Wizards win over the Pacers 102-79. Clippers lose to the Thunder 105-104. Westbrook had 38 points. Durant 10 rebounds. Westbrook 6. So really, they had a lot of points. Let's look at the points inside the paint. Look at the points in the paint. That's where we're going to start at right now. Points in the paint that allow these guys to score points in the paint. Points that were breaking in the paint. Really, it really doesn't matter. But we really want to know how many points they had here inside the paint. So let's see here. Fast break points for Oklahoma, 19 points in the paint, 44. Turnovers, 13 to 20%. So 105 points. 9 steals, 5 blocks, 14 assists, 44 rebounds, and much more. Fast point breaks, 12 points in the paint, 22. Turnovers, 17 to 20. They had 23 turnovers by these players. And they had 40 points in the paint that allowed Oklahoma City Thunder to bounce back with this game, because it surprised me that they bounced back. No, I'm telling you, it surprised me as they bounced back here with this win. And let's just say they got it done, which very much impresses me here because they know what they're doing. Okay? They know what they're doing, and they have that great opportunity to show it. They sure do. Let's take a quick break here, and we'll update you in just a moment here with Major League Baseball here. Shall we? So final score today, Tigers beat the Orioles 7-5. Halos beat the Phillies 3-0. Top of the second, Giants lead the Atlanta Braves 3-2, still scoreless. To top of the third, 1-1 still. Top of the eighth inning, Royals lead the Rockies 3-2. We'll update you that game. We come back here live on YouTube.com. We'll be back next.
All that glitters is gold. Dallas Gold. Silver Exchange is hosting our bullion and rare coin event this week. Thursday, our exact inventory of world-class coins at International Bullion will be on full display at our Arena Road location. Hundreds of rare and unusual coins. Millions of dollars of gold, silver, platinum, and more. And the best margins to buy and sell this weekend open. Visit gold.pgse.com to learn more.
Okay, so here we go. Top of the fourth inning, White Sox tie with the Athletics 1-1, still scoreless. Top of the fourth, middle of the third, still scoreless. Rays and Mariners. So, so we got another case here involving an ex-Giant chase at the drunken scooter. This is an NFL story. So that's what we're going to go ahead and talk about the story also real quick. And what's going to happen with him now with Tyler Slash. I'm not so sure. We'll get into it here in just a moment. Because these stories in the NFL are kind of weird. Very weird. Okay, here we go. Former New York Giants safety Tyler Slash was arrested early Saturday morning in Iowa after leading police on a drunken scooter chase and being shot with the taser. Slash, who played 2 seasons with the Giants, was charged with public intoxication and interference with an official act by police of Oskalaka, Iowa. According to multiple reports, police spotted Slash approximately at 1:30 a.m. riding a motorized scooter with its lights off and asked them to stop. Slash, however, reportedly refused on multiple occasions, leading police on a 4-block chase before leaving the scooter and fleeing on foot. Police eventually found Slash hiding behind a tree after the 25-year-old refused to come out, shot him with the taser. Slash declined and failed a sobriety test but admitted to a drinking and was taken to Mahashka County Jail. A 6th-round draft pick in 2011 could play in college at Iowa. Slash appeared in 23 games with the Giants, and he was suspended in 2012 for violating the NFL's policy on performance enhancing substance and was cut by the Giants prior to last season. So Mr. Number 39, who is 25 years old, was in the police in a scooter chase. Wow. Was this scooter probably could have belonged to his grandma or his grandma. It must have belonged to somebody here, folks, because this isn't the right thing to do. I mean, we remember a couple of years ago in 94, when O.J. Simpson led the California Police Department police chase when he had stabbed his girlfriend. You know, that was a serious police chase. And I remember a couple of years ago, when we had a police chase about an 18-wheeler here in Dallas, that also led to a police chase, and that 18-wheeler didn't want to stop. So this one is a scooter chase that kind of surprises me. I've never seen a scooter chase live on national television, but I'll be darned if I hear one again. I'll tell you that right now. To me, it sounds very ridiculous as it may sound. But what can I say? I have no opinion entitled to criticize anyone whatsoever, but all I gotta say is, this is not the type of story you want to be talking about here, folks. I mean, seriously, this is not the type of story you want to be discussing about, really, because to me it sounds ridiculous. How are you even going to allow a 25-year-old person drive a scooter? This scooter could have belonged to his grandparents, could have belonged to his grandma, to his grandpa. Somebody could belong to an elderly neighbor of his that lived next door to him in New York City. But who would want to who would want to be having the police chase you in Iowa in a scooter? No one. That's kind of kiddish. What is he? A 3-year-old kid riding a scooter? This is ridiculous, man. This is very ridiculous. I tell you right now, this is very ridiculous because I don't get it. Hey man, a 25-year-old grown man driving a scooter, motor scooter, that seems kind of dumb and stupid too. Excuse me. It sounds kind of dumb and stupid. How does a moron and a fool drive a motor scooter and let a police chase in Iowa County? Iowa, I don't know. I am confused. I am confused here, folks. I'm very confused here, folks. Folks, as you. This is this is very ridiculous here, man. It's not getting any worse than that python that Veronica Rodriguez found in her tub, where she was bathing her household guinea pigs. Now, really? Come on, man. We know for the fact we're not supposed to let a 12-foot python slither around your home and leave the back door open. What was Veronica Rodriguez thinking? What really was she thinking? I mean, next you're never going to hear a cow. Wait a minute. There's another weird news story I did not spoke about. I think this was when there was a bear somewhere. A bear in Florida. Yes, a bear in Florida. Intruded a woman's house. And the neighbors, they spotted the bear. It was a big old polar bear, big old bear. The brown kind you see on this in the zoos and whatnot. Okay, tell me about this, folks. A bear. Those are intruders right there. But you really know you're not supposed to attack the bear because the bear will attack you. And believe me or not, folks, bears are very dangerous. Now, but the weirdest one though is the 12-foot python. Okay? What was Veronica Rodriguez thinking about in the first place? Was she even trying to allow this python to enter her home? And I'm guessing I'm going to just go ahead and leave the back door open and say, okay, come on inside, python. Come on inside. And I tried to the python. I was like, come here, boy. Come here. Into my kingdom. Into my yard. I got you some dead rodents right down the floor there. Help yourself there, son. No. I know what I'm doing. I'm not going to leave the back door open letting an animal intruder to come inside my property. No. I'm not going to do that, folks. That is the veriest childish thing to ever happen. No. It is. It truly is. I just can't seem to disappoint myself though, folks. I still don't get it. You know? Do I even want to figure out about this? Because I can tell you from a scale of 10, folks, these pythons, they can enter anywhere in your backyard. Even crocodiles, they enter. I watch the National Geographic show. I watch them all the time. I watch and they tell you never leave your back door open to any intruder. I don't care if that intruder can be a raccoon, if it's a squirrel, if it's a bull. You gonna let the bull in and freaking gorge you right from your behind? I don't think so. I don't think so at all, period. But as odd as it may seem, though, this is a 12-foot python in bathroom. In a bathroom where you kind of figured out what am I really doing there. This is very, very ridiculous. And I'm telling you, it is very ridiculous. Let's go to move on here. Time is 3:40. Live here on YouTube.com. And let's go ahead and get to another one, shall we? Okay. Let's see. Let's go to this one here. This one is kind of weird also. How does the 11-year-old boy fall down 11 stories from the high rise? Okay. Presented by Conference Takes You Everywhere. Higher power meets high style. Comparative design. Visit your North Texas Chevy dealer. Meet the new premium. The all-new 2015 Chevy Tahoe. Visit your North Texas Chevy dealer today. Minneapolis, Minnesota. A young boy, double the miracle baby, remains in critical condition, but is expected to survive after falling 11 stories from a Minneapolis high-rise. 15-month-old Musa Dayeeb suffered a broken spine and ribs as well as a concussion and a punctured lung. Manasseh's relatives believe he slipped through the balcony's railing Sunday evening. Hempstead County Medical Center spokeswoman Christine Hill says the boy was in critical but stable condition on Wednesday. Dr. Tina Schuller of the hospital's pediatric intensive care unit tells the Star Tribune that Musa landed on a small patch of mulch. Lusher says it's a real gift from God that boy survived. This is a breaking news story update. Check back soon for further information. AP's earlier story is below. The owner of Minneapolis Apartments building, where a 15-month-old fell 11 stories, met with the community members to discuss measures to keep other children safe. The toddler, Musa Dayeeb, is hospitalized with a broken spine and ribs, as well as a concussion and a punctured lung, but doctors expect him to survive. Musa's relatives believe he slipped through the balcony's railing Sunday evening. At a attendance meeting Tuesday night, Riverside Pizza owner George Sherman said the maintenance staff will close off balcony doors for any attendant who asks, according to the Minnesota Public Radio News, for residents who would like to have a mechanism to block their patio doors from being open, and we will provide that accommodation, and we will have it in the past. And we will continue to provide that at no charge for the residents, Sherman said. Sherman said he is also checking to see what sort of permanent child-proof locks are allowed under the fire code. Minneapolis City Building Inspector said that's the building's balconies are up to code. Building official Patrick Higgins said the reachable rods under the railing are 5.2 inches apart. Today's building code requires even closer spacing, specifically so a small child can get through. Higgins said. Riverside Plaza was revoted 2 years, but the balconies weren't part of the overhaul, he added. If they choose to upgrade those rails, they would have to have brought them to the new standard, which is 4 inches. We don't probably go in and say code change. Now you got to change at all your building systems. If it was previously approved by the code, it's grandfather until they choose to rebuild that area. He can say. Members of all the Somali American community say they are raising money for the family. Well, that is the various story here today. Wednesday, May 14th, year 2014. I'm thinking, how does this 11-month-old boy, toddler falls? How does he even fall on that balcony in Minneapolis, Minnesota? That is very, very, very wrong. And to me, as they may seem, though, folks, this is not the type of one place from another. So I hate to say it, but is it just me, or is it they they know what they know what they were doing? Let's just say that here, and it's not the right thing or the right place, but clearly, clearly, it's it's been away, and I just don't think that you really, you know, want to sit back and even think that you can't forgive what was the main type of issue. I mean, the main type of situation here. Excuse me. We got another case here, and we're talking about that here. Thomas 346. We're in with our next news story here. National news now, unfortunately. We'll tell you where it happened. This is now to be seen, Las Vegas, Nevada. Las Vegas, Nevada. A jury in Nevada cleared a Las Vegas physician Tuesday in a wrongful death and medical misplaced lawsuit stemming from the May 2010 suicide of LPGA golfer Erica Blasberg. Jurors who heard 5 days of civil trial testimony debated less than an hour before finding Dr. Thomas had no ability in the death of a woman who, according to testimony, harbored deep feelings of happiness as she became a college golf star and a photographic rising talent on the Women's Pro Tour. Has who testified earlier Tuesday that he had a fitty relationship with the Blasberg, wasn't in the courtroom. When the jury finding was read, he has maintained that he and Blasberg were friends, but didn't have a romantic relationship. As attorney Kim Irene Meldenbaum declined immediately comment after the jury finding was read on Clark County District Court. Earlier, Meldenbaum urged the jury of four men and 4 women to remember that the Blasberg suicide letter said not to blame anyone. Blasberg's parents, Mel and Dara Blasberg, who are divorced and live in Southern California, said they were disappointed in the finding but glad to have aired their concerns in court. The accused has, now 46, who was married at the time of pursuing a romantic relationship with their 25-year-old daughter and putting that interest ahead of her medical needs. We have a doctor, much older than my daughter, who got involved with my daughter and he crossed the line and it affected my daughter, Malverts told reporters. And that's why we came here, not for money, but to let the world know there is more to what happened than Erica committing suicide. Do excuse me here for just a second here, folks. Okay. Where was it? Okay, so what happened to Erica? What happened then? Erica committing suicide. The court feels that for whatever reason, he doesn't have the legal ability, Blasberg said. As a family practice doctor pleaded guilty in December 2010 to a misdemeanor obstruction charge for removing the suicide note and some medications after finding Blasberg dead in bed at her Henderson home. He said he removed the items to spare the Blasberg family, whom he had never met. In anguish following Blasberg's death, Hasian knew Erica Blasberg had been seeing a psychiatrist for depression. His lawyer said, but he didn't prescribe that many medications that Blasberg took before going to bed with the dust mask over her mouth and a plastic bag over her head secured by rubber bands. The Clark County coroner determined that the Blasberg committed suicide by ASPHYXATION with a toxic combination of medications in her system. Her suicide note said that the prescription medications have been accumulated over time, and I blame no one for the drugs I take this evening. Blasberg was from Corona, California, where she was coached by her father before becoming an All-American American in 2003 and 2004 at University of Arizona. Her best year as a professional was 2008 when she tied for the 8th at the SPCS Open in Hawaii and earned more than $13,000 in winnings according to the LPGA. So this was a professional golf player, and obviously this case goes back to May of 2010 and December 2010. So really here, folks, there isn't much that we can speculate about. But obviously, I'm not even sure what we're looking at here. So let's go ahead here and go to the next one, shall we? Let's go ahead and do that here, shall we? Las Vegas, Nevada. A former housemate told a Nevada jury on Tuesday he witnessed both the beginning and the aftermath of a physical argument that his friend acknowledged ended in the death of his girlfriend, a dancer, in the Luxor Hotel's casino Fantasy Revenue. Luis Colombo testified that he tried before leaving the house late December 12, 2010 to claim an agreement that he had Deborah Flores Navarez pushing and pointing her finger into the chest of Jason Omar Griffin, and Griffin grabbing Flores' throat with both hands. When Colombo returned, he saw Flores' body on the floor. Griffin told him that he choked Flores from behind after she complained that her throat was injured and she needed an ambulance. The call would almost certainly have led to Griffin's second arrest in 2 months on a domestic violence charge, the first after an October fight with Flores had sent Griffin into a destructive tailspin that jurors had been told that Flores, who Colombo knew as Debbie, helped nurse him through. All the while, Griffin, 31-year-old, a dancer and the coquette de la Solte show Love, excuse me here, all the while, Griffin, 31-year-old, a dancer at the Coquette de Solte show Love, who went by the nickname Blue, juggled efforts to romance another dancer in another Coquette circuit show. The fatal agreement began with Flores' complaint that Griffin didn't spend enough time with her. Colombo said as a prosecutor, Mark de la Maco asked him to tell the jury what Griffin told him about the fatal moments. Colombo said Griffin told him the fighting escalated after Flores insisted that Griffin call an ambulance. As they were walking out of the room, he grabbed her from behind, choking her from behind. Griffin told Colombo he tried to listen to Flores for Flores' heartbeat, but couldn't hear because of the pounding in his own chest. Griffin said he put a plastic shopping bag over Flores' head to see if she was breathing, but she wasn't. The bag was still there when Colombo returned home. Colombo knowledge helped Griffin trying to dispose of the body in tubes of concrete and endure intense cross-examination from defense attorney Abel Yanez about receiving blanket immunity for prosecution as an accessory to the slaying. Several times, Yanez degraded the agreement as the deal of the century. Colombo, now 35 years old, told detectives in January 2011 where to find Flores' body in the concrete. He said he and Griffin had first estimated the body in one big tub, but that proved too heavy to move in store. So the two men tucked it in a rental van to a vacant downtown house, broke the cement apart, removed Florida's remains, cut the legs from the torso, and entombled them again in two timber tubes of concrete. Who does the cutting? Diaz-Michael asked about the dismemberment. Jason, Colombo said. What does he use? A handsaw. Did you see? The prosecutor asked. I just turned away, Colombo replied. Griffin was arrested the day Flores' body was found. He did not plead not guilty to murder and could face life in prison if convicted. His attorneys maintained that Flores had a history of stalking and violence against Griffin and previous boyfriends in Maryland and Las Vegas. They haven't said if Griffin will testify in his defense. A key piece of evidence could be a video recording that Griffin made while confronting Flores about his car tires being slashed, and it Flores admits hitting Griffin, entering his house, looking on his computer, pouring egg whites on his car, and slashing 3 tires. The trial continues Wednesday. To me, I'm obviously not even so sure what happens with the story. This is very odd with Tyler Sash, the New York Giants. Man, much more here, folks. This is getting day by day it's getting worse and worse because we're all kind of wondering what are we going to do. How are we going to figure these things out here, folks? They're not that easy. I'll tell you that right now. They're not that easy at all. Period. So, like I said, everyone just bear with me on these issues. Bear with me on this one because I'm not even so sure what to find on this automatist, as you may say. So pretty much, folks, this is what's to be. So we're learning more details about the trap in the Turkish coal mine in Turkey. And that's what we're going to talk about here right now. As we get set for the 4 o'clock hour here next world story here, of course. Samoa, Turkey. Rescuers struggle to reach more than 200 miners trapped underground early Wednesday after an explosion and fire at a coal mine in western Turkey killed at least 201 workers, authorities said, in one of the most mining disasters in Turkish history. Engineer Master Taner Yildiz said 787 people were inside the coal mine in Samoa. And then 250 kilometers, that means 155 miles south of Istanbul. At the time of the accident, 363 of them have been rescued so far. At least 80 miners were injured, including 4 who were in serious conditions. Yildiz tells reporters in Samoa that he oversaw the rescue operation involving more than 400 rescuers. The accident occurred when the workers were preparing for a shift change, officials said, which likely raised the casualty toll because there were more than miners inside the mine than usual. Yadiz said the deaths were caused by carbon monoxide poisoning, and the death toll could end up much higher than the latest count to 201 workers. The rescue effort is reaching a critical stage. Yadiz said, with more deaths likely as time passes, the minister said the rescue operations were handled because the mine had not been completely been cleared of gas. Authorities said the disaster followed an explosion and fire caused by power destruction unit. Nukutin Akahu, a mining trade unit leader, told Haberturk television that Turkey was likely facing its worst mining accident ever. Time is working against us. We fear that the numbers could rise further, Yildiz said. We have to finish this rescue operation by dawn. I have to say that our pain, our trouble could increase. Earlier, Yildiz said some of the workers were 420 meters, which means 460 yards deep inside the mine. News reports said the workers could not use the lifts to get out of the mine because the explosion had caused a power cut. Television footage showed people cheering and applauding as some trapped workers emerged out of the mine. Helped by rescuers, their faces and hard hats covered in soot. One wiped away tears on his jacket, another smiled, waved and flashed a thumbs up, and signed at onlookers. Dozens of ambulances veered back and forth, bodies and injured extended from the mine, and rescue workers were massed at the entrance. For another who told the station she had just spoken by telephone to a missing relative. Police set up fences in Stuttgart around Samoa State Hospital to keep the crowds away. Authorities had earlier said that the blast left between 200 to 300 miners underground and made arrangements to set up a cold storage facility to hold the corpses of the miners recovered from the site. Prime Minister Tayyip Erdogan postponed a one-day to visit Abylia scheduled for Wednesday and planned to visit Samoa instead. Samoria Kamar Astamarali, which owns the mine, said the accident occurred dispute the highest safety measures and contest controls, added that investigation was being launched. Our main priority is to get our workers out so that they may be reunited with their loved ones. The company said in a statement, mining accidents are common in Turkey, which is plagued by poor safety conditions. Turkey's worst mining disaster was back in 1992. Gas explosion that killed 263 workers near the Black Sea port of Zugadak. That was a long time ago. That was the right number. They confirmed a long time ago. Well, thank you very much for joining me here today, Wednesday. Looking forward to talking to you tomorrow, Thursday, and continue on. Who's going to make the NBA playoffs, the finals? Let's go ahead and talk about that. I want to simmer now. If Oklahoma City beats the Clippers tomorrow, this coming up week, then they'll get a chance to go to the third semifinal of the conference, which means they'll probably have to face the winner of Portland and the Spurs of San Antonio, Texas. And that's really going to sound obvious because whoever wins that game here tonight, they have a chance of facing one or another here. It's going to sound strange, folks, but really, I'm waiting for Brooklyn to win tonight at 6 o'clock and then 8:30, Portland Trailblazers. And tomorrow you got Pacers take on the Wizards, followed by 9:30, Oklahoma City Thunder take on the Clippers tomorrow night. on ESPN and ESPN tomorrow. So I'm hoping one or somebody here wins these next games because, like I said, it's not going to sound that very much good at all. Period when it comes to one of these guys playing on forward. Thank you very much for joining me here tonight with Tonight Baseball, Yankees and Mets. Later on tonight, only on ESPN Network. Also listen to the XM Radio app. Thank you very much for joining me here. This is Coropalmartinez. Have a good afternoon. See you tomorrow, Thursday, May 15, year 2014, live here on YouTube.com. Until next time, take it easy.